David Norris, a promising newcomer in the Senate race, is highlighted as a rising figure known for his collaborative nature and empathy towards others. NBC's Earl Scarborough covers Norris's lead over his rival. While on the Jon Stewart show, Norris's contentious political past, including a bar altercation, is discussed. Despite Mayor Bloomberg's endorsement of a Coast Guard ship and campaign director Trainor's claim of a significant lead, doubts surface among supporters like Harry Mitchell. Just before the crucial vote, a scandal involving Norris's college prank surfaces, leading Mitchell to receive instructions from his superior, Richardson, on handling the crisis. On election night, Norris watches CNN in a hotel suite, anticipating further developments. The disclosure of a past incident causes a shift in support among Norris's followers and residents. Mary Matlin of The Post examines Norris's troubled history. Despite initially leading, Norris now trails his opponent significantly in the polls. Realizing an imminent landslide victory for his rival as reported by NBC News, Norris prepares his concession speech alone. An unexpected encounter with Elise Sellis in a restroom stall leads to a moment of connection, culminating in a kiss before Trainor interrupts, causing Sills to leave abruptly. During his speech, Norris candidly discusses campaign failures and distractions. Meanwhile, Richardson tasks Mitchell with ensuring Norris spills coffee on his shirt by 7:05 a.m. Mitchell plans to intercept Norris at the park but falls asleep. Norris, learning about a new role at RSR funding hinting at a future Senate candidacy, heads to the bus. Mitchell wakes in time to see Norris bored, chasing after and sitting beside Sellis. As they reconnect, Norris shares his upcoming position, prompting disapproval from Sellis for not running in 2010. As Mitchell rushes to catch up, a coffee mishap occurs with Sellis due to a bus delay caused by traffic. Mitchell gets hit by a taxi, worried about his book's damage as its contents mysteriously change. Norris and Sellis exchange numbers while discussing a costly solar charger investment proposed by Trainor. Despite Trainor's doubts, he urges Norris to pitch it at a gathering. Upon reaching RSR offices, Norris encounters frozen men. Norris locks himself in Trainor's office as Richardson's men break in, taking him to a warehouse for a reset. Richardson, part of the change department, warns Norris not to disclose what he witnessed, using threats to control him. Richardson manipulates details to prevent Norris from disrupting their plans. Norris is informed that his meeting with Sellis was not supposed to happen, and her contact info is destroyed. Back at Trainor's office, Trainor supports the solar charger proposal but appears disturbed after the meeting. Norris, expecting to see Sellis again, faces confusion instead of joy. Struggling to process his experiences, Norris suppresses his emotions to avoid Richardson's threatened consequences. Norris, at a bar, struggles to remember Sellis's number. Mitchell arrives, questioning Norris's fixation on one woman amidst the chaos. Mitchell explains Tab's subtle influence on thoughts to avoid emotional interference, warning Norris about discussing sensitive matters. Mitchell arranges a secure meeting on the Staten Island ferry at 4 p.m., reiterating Richardson's warning about the consequences of revealing Tab's existence. During the ferry ride, Mitchell discloses how Tabs subtly influence decisions at RSR through Trainor. Tabs cannot read minds but notice deviations from planned choices. Mitchell explains Tabs' monitoring limits and how water disrupts their abilities. Despite Tabs' efforts to keep Norris and Sellis apart, Mitchell advises Norris to persevere in reuniting with Sellis. Following Mitchell's advice 3 years later, Norris reconnects with Sellis on his bus route. A Tab member rushes to Richardson with a book revealing Norris and Sellis's reunion. Richardson intervenes, prompting Sellis to reveal her ballet profession at Cedar Lake. During a bistro chat, Richardson and McCready notice Sellis's dynamic tree shifting, leading Richardson to swiftly change Cedar Lake's practice location. If Norris and Sellis share a genuine kiss, Tab's interference will have serious consequences. The Trainor is tasked to locate them for a Brooklyn Bridge gathering. Sellis encourages Norris to proceed, aligning Richardson's relief with Trainor's efforts and Sellis's support. During Norris's Senate speech at the bridge, Richardson changes Sellis's practice location back to Cedar Lake. Norris, realizing Richardson's intervention, rushes to Dock 17 post-speech, finding it closed. Despite Richardson's phone signal disruptions, Norris calls directory assistance to find Cedar Lake. Richardson, blocking the call, trails Norris to the bus stop to reason with him. Determined, Norris outsmarts Richardson, seeking help at a cafe to locate Cedar Lake. Despite Richardson's interference with cabs, Norris runs, challenging Richardson's actions. They flag down a cab, which gets hit by a car. A Tab officer questions Norris, who then hails another cab, offering extra payment to speed to Cedar Lake. Richardson and McCready chase Norris desperately, trying to impede his progress. The arrangement book reveals Richardson's breaking point upon Norris witnessing Sellis dancing. Against Richardson's efforts to block the studio, Norris enters and watches Sellis practice. Richardson's boundaries are tested, with Norris remaining focused on Sellis. Meanwhile, at Tab headquarters, Donaldson reveals that Norris and Sellis were originally meant to be together before an alteration in 2005 to keep Sellis with Adrian, Cedar Lake's lead choreographer. The remnants of their original arrangement explain their strong bond. Donaldson proposes involving Thompson, a skilled change manager, to resolve the situation. Norris and Celis walk through Manhattan, engrossed in conversation. Taking him to a dance club, Celis impresses the crowd. Later, Norris shares a personal story about his political beginnings and family tragedies, leading to a heartfelt kiss and an intimate moment. As they sleep, Thompson discreetly observes. The next morning, Celis wakes to find Norris gone, talking to Adrian on the phone. Norris returns with coffee and Celis explains Adrian, her ex, is a talented artist and choreographer. Surprised by Adrian's sudden calls post-breakup, Celis explains to Norris that her strong feelings for him prevented her from responding to Adrian. Reassuring Celis, Norris pledges not to hurt her, expressing a newfound sense of companionship. As Norris heads to the Jon Stewart show for an assessment, Celis watches backstage. After the interview, a crew member relayed that Norris had a serious meeting and would call her afterward. They plan to meet at Cedar Lake later for her company's presentation. However, the crew member is actually part of TAB and directs Norris to the warehouse, where Richardson had taken him before. Although locked inside, Thompson arrives and discusses freedom with Norris, emphasizing it lies in small decisions rather than major ones affecting many. Whitehab aims to keep Norris and Zealous apart, permitting them to meet just once. The intentional encounter in a hotel restroom inspired Norris's crucial speech, saving his political career and propelling him to become a prominent U.S. Senate leader. However, staying with Celis could impact his presidential potential negatively due to her bold personality. When Norris stands firm in choosing Celis, Thompson lets him go, suggesting he can still make it to Celis's performance if he hurries. Hurrying to Cedar Lake, Norris observes Celis dancing as Thompson arrives, hinting that Celis has a bright future in the arts unless she stays with Norris, potentially limiting her to teaching children at a local school. Thompson engineers an incident where Celis severely injures her ankles, for which Norris rushes her to the hospital. Later, Thompson blames Norris for the accident, citing his past actions that have jeopardized Celis's dreams. Celis's injury turns out to be a sprain. Visiting her in the recovery room, Norris finds her grateful for his help as she heals over the next month. Following a tender moment, Norris leaves momentarily to make calls before escorting Celis home. However, as he moves through the hospital corridors, it becomes apparent he might not return as he falls into the Zealous trap. Richardson informs Mitchell at TAB headquarters about Thompson's success. 11 months later, Norris is in a rural community where a news report shows his strong lead in the upcoming election. As he wraps up, a trainer hands him a newspaper with an article praising Celis on the front page, lauding her flourishing dance career and recent achievements at Cedar Lake. Mitchell reads the article near the warehouse as Norris looks out over the water. Distressed, Celis fills out a marriage license application. At a local barbecue spot, Norris receives a note from the bartender containing a message from his friend. That night, Norris meets Mitchell at the warehouse. Mitchell disputes Thompson's claim about Celis influencing Norris negatively but warns that she could hinder his political success. He explains that Norris's charisma stems from his desire for public attention, a result of family loss. Mitchell worries that Celis could jeopardize Norris's ambitions, including his White House dreams. Believing in Norris's broader goals, Mitchell supports him. As Norris gains popularity and approaches a potential nomination, Mitchell observes the public's admiration for him. Norris notices a shift in his focus towards public attention since being with Celis, yet his thoughts remain consumed by her. Curious about Celis's wedding, he asks Mitchell, learning it will be a civil ceremony with Thompson likely intervening if Norris shows up. Mitchell is uneasy about Celis settling for less. Realizing Mitchell's support, Norris seeks help in accessing a secretive location known to select individuals. They require a secluded water-surrounded spot for private talks. Mitchell's advice on opening doors clockwise using a tab cap. In Manhattan, Mitchell guides Norris to a hidden TAB central command through a pumping station. Meanwhile, Celis finds solace at Cedar Lake's dance floor. Mitchell returns to explain Manhattan's intricate layers and their disruptive plan for Norris to navigate covertly, aiming to outsmart Thompson's tracking efforts for the upcoming wedding at 60 Place Road. While Celis practices at Cedar Lake and Mitchell and Norris strategize, Mitchell warns Norris about heightened TAB alertness once he passes the main door. Norris must be cautious of anyone without a specific cap, including TAB members. As morning and rain herald the impending wedding, Mitchell hands him a cap. Capitalizing on the rain for cover, Norris enters, outsmarting TAB. Thompson's men notice his tactic, alerting Thompson to inform the wedding delegate. At the town hall, Celis meets Adrian, needing a moment before the ceremony. With a TAB member watching, Norris arrives, seeking Celis's whereabouts and finding her in the restroom. Celis is shocked by Norris's appearance, while he pleads for forgiveness. When a TAB member interrupts, Norris takes action, revealing TAB's interference to Celis. Thompson's men observe this and alert Thompson. Thompson orders a reset, deploying TAB members to the chaos. Celis stands bewildered as events escalate. Wearing his cap, Norris leads Celis through Yankee Stadium and a metro station, aiming to outsmart Thompson. They escape to Freedom Island for safety, pursued by Thompson's team. Norris reveals Tab's pursuit of Celis and suggests infiltrating Tab's headquarters. After a moment's thought, Celis agrees, and they enter Tab's Central Command via the Freedom Statue's base. Inside, they surprise Thompson and Mitchell, navigating obstacles in the HQ. Mitchell receives an urgent message, while Norris and Celis find themselves cornered on the Tab headquarters rooftop. Thompson acknowledges their determination and allows them to be together, rewriting their fate. Norris and Celis embrace their new future, prepared for the challenges ahead. Mitchell hints at individuals shaping their destinies, suggesting a future where humanity controls its path. With that, the movie ends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.